Hey, hey,
お願いします。
お願いします。はい、side to side. はい、eat the shoulders. Very good. So weight. So it goes the other way. The arms and going back. Front. Three sides. はい、つまき。はい、反対。両方。ベンチ。横。よいしょ。き、こ、き、こ、短期、こ、う、down. はい、knees, welcome back. Circles. And the other way. Down, up, down. Bend your toes. Down. your hips. Facing your leg. Side. Good. Keep hinges. You side. Side. Open your legs, lower your hips. Pivoting one side. Pivot the other side. Toes, head, hips up, hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up, spine up. Oh, nice. Hey, a bit lower, one side, and the other side. Those up, and the other side. Hands in front. Bench. Again, hands in front. Bench. Feet. Side. Open your legs. Elbows. Hey, bring legs in. Hands out. So, looking forward. Hips down. Hips back. Hips forward. Hips up. Walking back. Hands up. Opening one side. Opening the other side. Hands down. Walking forward. Hips down. Hips back. Forward. Hips up. Hands back. Up. Side. And the other side. Down. Forward. Back. In. Back. Go. Three, one side. The other side. One side. One side. One side. 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 Key. Go. Key. Go. Stand. Key. Go. Hey, down. And your knees. Side to side. And stretching one leg. Bringing the other knee with your chest. And extending. And the other leg. Bending to your chest. And extending. And both knees, chest. Running toes. Pressing legs. And down again. Grabbing your legs. Extend. Bring your legs to feet down. And feet side to side. Hey, crossing one leg. Opening your hip. Passing through. Grabbing. Holding. And down. Change legs. Open your hip. Passing through. And grabbing. Down. Hip down. Side to side. Hey, turn around. Facing down. Open your legs. Open your arms. Go up. Turning one side. change, raise, turn, the other side. Oh, raise, turn, side, down, raise, turn, the other side. So, hands in front, and bring them 90 degrees towards you, head down, and raising your thumbs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down. Now this time let's do it again, but now focus on your scapula. Make sure that your movement begins from the center of your back, not from your arms alone, but by moving your scapula first, your scapular shoulders, and then once you have engaged your scapula, then raise your arms up. Okay, so let's just do that in two steps. So first of all, adjust your scapula. Now raise your arms and down. Engage your scapula. Raise your arms down. Engage scapula. Raise arms down. Engage scapula. Raise arms down. Engage. Raise down. Engage. Raise down. Engage. Raise down. And relax. Okay, hands in front. And snow angels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Down. All right, this time we're going to do our pulse towards your chest, but similar thing as with the thumb raising. Make sure to engage your scapula first and then do your pull. Okay, so scapula engages first and then you pull. So let's do it in two times. Okay, so head down, engaging scapula and pull and down. Engage the scapula, pull down. Engaging the scapula, pull down. Engage, pull down. Engage, pull down. Engage, pull down. Engage, pull down. And relax. We saw stretch. But remember, when fixing or trying to work on your shisei, there is a number of like outer element things that we have to work on. For example, the strength of our core muscles, the strength of our upper back and lower back, making sure that all of that, structure is suitable to have a good posture. And that's why core exercises, basic set of calisthenic exercises such as push-ups and sit-ups or dead bugs or things like that help us to maintain that core structural integrity is very important. And then there are fine adjustments which are important too. In terms of the fine adjustments, not like the gross adjustments. The gross adjustments is just the basic health of your body, which cannot be replaced by anything else. We need to do exercises that maintain some physical integrity, in our core muscles, in our upper back, in our shoulders, etc. So, but in more subtle things is number one, the tilting of your pelvic area. Okay, so the tilting of your pelvic area is going to have a huge impact in the way your spine is presented. So making sure that you are aware of the degree of tilting of your pelvic area and try to avoid the two extremes, excessively tucked in or excessively kind of pulling out, excessively tucked in, excessively pulling out. So somewhere in the middle where your spine sits properly. So that's number one. Number two is the engagement of your scapula part, not so much of your shoulders, that's kind of the outer part of your back, but your scapula. Not long ago, we were doing some squat exercises, and Justin was mentioning how he was putting his finger right in the back of your back, on your spine. He was asking you to kind of squeeze it with your back muscles, and then do your squat. Basically, he's engaging back muscles, but the only way to kind of do that, if you put like a pencil or something on your back here, and then you imagine that you're squeezing it, right? So you put a pencil in the back here or something, and then you imagine squeezing the pencil like that, is by engaging your scapula action. So it's not so much the outside muscles, the shoulders or the back, which they do participate, but it's also engaging the scapula action. So number one, finding the tilting of your pelvic area. Number two, engaging your scapula. And number three, being aware of the level of your eyes, okay, which that affects immediately the position of your neck. So, making sure that you are aware that your eyes are not too low or too high, that your eyes are, at a medium level, because that immediately affects the position of your neck. So your eyes affect your neck, your scapula affect your shoulders, and your pelvic area affects your spine. So those three are three like internal kind of adjustments that we have to do in addition to all the push-ups and sit-ups and basic structural things that we must also do. But so remember pelvic area, scapular adjustment, eye level, and then those things fix the posture from the inside and then work on the outside on your muscles and so on. All right, Shirokemi. Eight, 5, 10, all the way up to your knees. 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, upload Kenny. Hey, simple Kenny. and stand again. All right, so last online session of the year. Very important to kind of review most basic elements of our practice, which is our Tai Savaki exercises. So Tai Savaki, meaning, as one of them say, indicates the use not only of the hip and the spine, but of the entire lower body structure. Your legs, your bum, your hips, your spine, all of that lower part of our body, which leads the movements, and then the upper part of our body that supports the movements. Okay. The problem is, again, that many times our body is kind of inverted. The upper part of our body leads the movement, or not even inverted. The upper part of our body leads the movement, and the lower part of our body tries to catch up just to make sure that we don't fall down or something like that. So the idea is to kind of invert a little bit also. So the lower part of the body leading the movement, and the upper part of the body nicely structured and strong in order to support that movement. So first of all, let's just pay attention to that. So your hand me position, please. So open your leg, adjust your hips, lower, sit on your hips, and hand me. Okay. So remember, Sensei places a lot of kind of weight on the front part of your leg. But try to transfer your weight to the front, engage your legs, engage your buttocks, lower your hips, be aware of your spine, which in this case is in vertical shisei. It's not really doing anything. Keep your eyes. Okay, so move back, move forward, move back, forward, back, forward. That's the other thing in terms of Sensei's hand me. Different schools have hand knees, especially the hands, in different positions. Sensei's hands are just active, very active. They never kind of go to sleep. You can see him how his tegatana, what we call his tegatana, his arms are very extended and engaged, but they're just by the sides. They're not even kind of grabbing anything. They're just kind of by the sides, right? And from that position, boom, kind of actions being made. So, hands awake, hands active, lower body engaged, hip down, okay, spine and shisei. Okay, so the other side, put in front, lower your hips, same, weight forward, and chain. Back again. Kokyu. Get back again. Kokyu. Back again. Kokyu. Kokyu. Go. Kyu. Go. Kyu. Go. It's very important to try to mostly exercise that, especially for people who are taller. Okay, people who are shorter, I don't know exactly because I'm usually kind of a bit taller than most people. But if I'm practicing with Irena, I have to make sure that my hand me kind of adjusts to her height. So by the time I begin my exercises, Katakodori, or when to enter for Shomenuchi, or I'm asking for a ski or anything that happens, my idea is that I have lower my center of gravity in a way that is clearly more or less at the same height, as opposed to me being at this level and then necessarily commencing at this level. What do you do in order to kind of remember? Because if you are shorter, how do you remember to keep your center of gravity to lower it even more? Because the point is not so much, in this case, her center of gravity is lower than mine, which is a good thing. But even though if she's fully up in her center of gravity, she's unstable if she's fully up in that position, then that's a level of instability. So she needs to remember to still lower her hips and her center. What do you do to remember to do that? I mean, I do it because I just see the height of people. When I try, especially training with children, it's really good. Which I get that's training with children. That would be possibly the thing. But otherwise, what would you?
I think
what do
for
you do? What do you
me,
remember?
it becomes, part of it becomes just habit from being told, and we sort of practice to lower. And I think that also when it starts to become a habit the longer you train, that when the technique when you're struggling with the technique, it's almost like the first thing you need to think of is, am I lowering, when you're trying to see, well, what's not working? So I think that it starts slowly, it starts to,
I mean, this kind
your
of
brain as a habit.
it's hard for me when I'm seeing people, when I see taller people, much taller than their counterpart, I know, well, they don't have the center of gravity low. But it's harder for me to pick on shorter people because they naturally already look down. So like it's a little bit hard to see if they are lowering or not. But yeah, so that's exercise number one. We're here, percent lowering, and if she lowers, then makes the challenge lower a little bit. So but she makes the challenge a little bit bigger for me because obviously now she is lowering. So I'm trying to kind of more or less compensate to that. And from that position, the exercise begins. But so it's important to remember your hand knee is already a reflection of a number of things: the shape of your spine, the engagement of your hips, the engagement of your lower of your legs and your buttocks, and the awareness activity of your hands, okay, your arms, and your breathing. So all of that has to be part of the action of what she said. So now, once you are in that action, then you begin to practice the exercise of action. So first exercise of action will be irimi. Okay, remember the importance of irimi is that it is an action that moves offline but into the space. Okay, as opposed to just moving offline for the sake of moving offline, or moving into the space without moving offline, which is not possible if we have a person there. So the action of irimi is to move offline but into the space. Okay, so offline into the space, offline into the space, and depending on the type of irimi that we're practicing, especially sensei begins with a very square kind of position. His hips are fully turned towards uke, which means the shoulders are fully square towards uke. However, as soon as this kind of makes the opening of irimi a bit more dramatic, but once we are fully square, if we fully open, then now I let pass whatever energy was going in that direction, and my body now, you can only see one shoulder, one hip. Okay, so start fully square, and then irimi, making sure that hip and that shoulder open. Okay, irimi is our hand knee, fully square, and open, fully open. Hand knee, fully square, and open. Hand knee, fully square, and open. Okay. Now remember, this happens in many techniques where we move off the line, and then the next irimi goes back into the line. Okay. So we are on a line, we enter off the line, but most of the time, our next movement, if it's not a turn or an opening, if it's another movement forward, it would mean back into the line. So it's a little bit like a triangle, boom, boom, okay, as opposed to out, out, okay. So it's more like out of the line and then back into the line with two irimis in that sense, okay. Off the line, back into the line for the next exercise, okay. Off line, back into the line. Off line, back into the line. We can practice that. Now, irimi, remember, irimi is an idea of entry. Typically, it's practiced with a yumiashi, which is our basic step, or sugiashi, or kuriashi, sorry. A yumiashi with a step, or okuriashi with the front foot leading. Okay. Sometimes the back foot can lead, and that's a study of footwork, which is not much what we're doing today. But the front foot can lead, or the back foot can lead. Okay. Now study the implications of sometimes the front foot leading versus sometimes the back foot leading. Okay. But still, let's put those two at the moment in the category of sliding forward as opposed to stepping forward. Okay, so irimi with two forms: stepping, irimi, sliding. Change hand knee, irimi, stepping, back, irimi, sliding. Change hand knee, irimi, stepping, back, irimi, sliding. Change foot. Irimi, stepping, back, irimi, slide. Irimi is the most important, I would say, the most important idea of Aikido. Sometimes, unfortunately, physically, but also intentionally. The idea of moving into the space of the other person, into the space of the other person. We suffer a lot when our mind and then our body become hyper reactive. I'm not in, I'm waiting, and then the other person overwhelms with something. I need to have my intention, my will, and eventually sometimes my body movement, into trying to join and go into the person's space. It's a very important exercise physically, to kind of allow energies to pass without colliding too much without them, but also intentionally with the idea that I am moving into your space. I'm bridging the gap between you and me with my intention, at least. Otherwise, I am too receptive, waiting, and boom, and something happens in that process. So Irimi is the first example. So then we're going to practice Soto Tenkan, okay, lowering, and in this case it's Soto Mawaru because we're not doing any technique. Mawaru is to turn, enter, or Mawaru, okay, enter, Soto Mawaru, enter. Okay. As we discussed this during the week, okay, the turning catches the imagination of people, but really before the turning, there are two actions which are not more important. They are just essential to be able to do the turning properly. Number one is the lowering of the hips. Number two is the entering into the space. Number three is the turning. So the turning happens in third place. Lower, enter, turn. Lower, enter, turn. Lower, enter, turn. Lower, enter, turn. Okay. So remember, this becomes more apparent when we practice with a partner. When we practice with a partner, I lower, enter, and then turning. Okay. Lower, enter, turn. Lower, enter, turn. Lower, enter, turn. Okay. Okay. So, Soto Mawaru, okay, or sometimes also word as Soto Tenkan, preparation on the outside, okay? Then there's multiple ways of doing your preparation on the outside, but possibly this is the simple one. But please remember, lower your hips, enter, and then turn, okay? So basic preparation on the outside, or Soto Mawaru, number one. One thing that, we, especially with Goran Sensei, practice a lot, apart from the Sotoma, or instead of Sotoma water many times, especially with things like Ikkyo, Ura, Iriminage, Kotegaeshi, Ura, etc., is the idea of sliding out. Instead of stepping and turning, which will be Sotomawaru, Sensei wants us to step and slide. Okay, so it's almost like this idea of sliding to the side needs to have its own category as a taisabaki type of thing because it involves legs, hips, hands, So let's ascend it to a full idea of taisabaki. It is an ashisabaki in the sense that it's a lateral slide. So it's a lateral slide, a yoko uriashi, so it's a lateral slide. But when we put it together in action, there's a few things that need to come in addition to the capacity of sliding your feet side to side. So number one, lower your hip. Number two, keep your hands, which could be your partner's hand or your partner's spine in front of your center of gravity. Number three, proceed to do the slide while keeping that hand in front of you. Okay, and raise. Okay, so that would be the requirements of the hip, the requirements of the hand, the requirements of the legs. Okay, so lower your hip, hand in front, keep it in front, and moving forward, move to the side. And up again. Lower your hip, hand in front, keep it in front. Up, lower your hip, hand in front, keep it in front. Up, lower your hip, hand in front, keep it in front. Up, down, lower hips, hand in front, keep it in front. And so now, when seen by itself like that, that looks like that's simple enough. And it is never simple enough. Okay? So what happens is, can you please? Yeah, the difference between Ikkyo and the turn, okay, that would be a Mawaru up, turning, versus what Sensei wants to do, which is up, lower, and slide down. Up, lower, hand in front of me, slide. Up, lower, hand in front of me, slide. So now, most common mistakes on the Kuriashi is going to be always up, shoot the leg, lower. You already shot the leg. You cannot lower your hip after you have shot the leg. You know, most common mistakes: 1, 2, 3. And well, no, you're already out of alignment. You can't really do that. Up, down. That's mistake number 1 is to shoot the leg too early. Okay, that the footwork takes precedent over the hip lowering. So lower your hips first, shoot your leg. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a classic joke of the tug of war. The fact that although in my basic practice, I know that, you know, this hand shall be always in front of me, always in front of me, always in front of me. Okay, I know that in my basic practice. What happened is, because now I have a weight, you know, I have a weight in the form of Mayuke that is going to prevent me from doing that, okay, is that I am going to shoot and leave the hand behind. I'm supposed to say, no, I need to kind of go down, lower, and lower, okay? So, thank you. So those things are the most common mistakes in an exercise that otherwise looks really simple. Why? Because the exercise is lower the hips, keep hand in front, move your feet. Up. Lower your hips, keep hand in front, move your feet. Lower your hips, hand in front, move your feet. Lower your hips, hand in front, move your feet. Okay, so once again, you cannot repeat that enough because we will do it over and over and over. So, you know, possibly, obviously, Irimi, Soto Tenkan, or Soto Mawaru, and Yoko Kuriachi happen so often in our techniques that it's worth just, you know, keep studying them, keep studying, because they are basic body movements that we absolutely need in order to do even the most basic techniques that we have. So, you know, let's repeat them over and over and over again until, as Elena was saying before, you know, becomes a habit in terms of how to present your body in Hanmi, okay, how to move in Dimi, you know, offline, opening your hips, okay, and how to move in Yoko Kuriashi or in Mawaru Ashi, depending on the requirement for the technique being presented. So we can finish that, you know, with this year. This is the last Friday session of this year. We will have a normal session next Friday, but yeah, I have a very happy end of the year, and thank you for all the people who have been watching these online sessions that sometimes come during the morning or that watch it later on different times. Hopefully they are useful for your training in one way or another. Okay, so let's finish. Great. Hey,
どうもありがとうございました。
arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much.